Ashley, and welcome back to my channel, Momming Abroad. I post new motherhood and/or expat related videos every Sunday. Today we're going to be looking at American versus Dutch baby names. If that sounds interesting to you, keep watching. Did you know that before 1970, the name Savannah was not allowed in the Netherlands? That's right. In the Netherlands, the government has to approve the names that parents choose for their children. This is done in order to protect children from having names that are considered vulgar or that are profanity or things that could possibly lead to them being bullied. Over the years, it has become a lot less common that names aren't approved or that names are restricted. Pretty much anything is allowed these days, and it's just a formality that your name needs to go through a review process before it is approved. Essentially, everything is approved, but there are also names from other languages that could be too difficult with the alphabet and with the language here that could get rejected as well. So today we're going to look at some common Dutch names and some common American names to see how they can really differ. And then at the end of this video, we will take a look at the top 10 baby names in the US and the Netherlands, where we can see how the names are more similar to each other. So the first name on my Dutch list is the baby boy named Freek. That is a nickname or short form of Frederik or Frederick, and that is spelled F-R-E-E-K. Even though it is pronounced Freek, if you see it written out as an American or an English-speaking person, you would probably pronounce it Freak, which is not exactly a name that you want your child to go by. The next name on the Dutch baby name list is a girl's name, Joke, spelled J-O-K-E. I don't think I need to explain why this would be difficult for an English speaker because J-O-K-E spells the English word joke. And this is likely going to make your child the butt of many jokes if their name is Joke. So I wouldn't advise choosing this name if you think your child is going to spend a lot of time living in English-speaking countries. I assume when they're older that adults will be more mature and that it won't be as much of an issue. It is something that you want to be mindful of because kids sometimes can be mean. Okay, the next name is a baby boy named Taco, T-A-C-O. And I think that this connotation in the US, or at least English-speaking countries, would immediately make the person who hears your name think about the food tacos. And that is not necessarily the first thing that comes up for a Dutch speaker. It is a relatively common name, or at least not extremely rare name, so it is more accepted, but it is not a common name in the US, and I believe not in the UK either. So I would advise thinking twice before choosing this name if you think your child is going to spend a lot of time in an English-speaking country. The next name is Sicko. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If you know about this name, S-I-C-C-O, please feel free to leave a comment below. I believe they would pronounce it in the Netherlands and Germany, where it is also used. I believe they would pronounce it Sicko. But the way that I would pronounce it as a native English speaker, if I was outside of the Netherlands or outside of Germany, I would say Sicko, which would make somebody think of the word S-I-C-K-O, so somebody that's kind of sick in the mind. Not a very positive connotation. Okay, the next name is a nickname or a pet name, short version of the name Herman or Herman. It is a boy's name and the name is Harm, H-A-R-M. If you speak German or Dutch, then you may think, oh yeah, that sounds like a cute nickname for Herman. But if you only speak English, harm really makes you think of the English word harm, so to cause harm or something unpleasant or damage. So that is not necessarily a name that you would want to give your child if they are going to be growing up in an English-speaking context. Okay, now looking at American names that wouldn't go over so well in the Netherlands, It was really hard to narrow down some names because in the US it is much more culturally appropriate to choose a kind of out there name. I talked about this in my video about naming multicultural babies. If you haven't watched that yet, I will link it below in the description box and maybe up here in the cards as well. There I talked about why and how it is important to think about the culture that your child will be growing up in. In the Netherlands, there is a big emphasis on do normaal or be normal, and there kind of having names that people have heard of is much more important than in the US, where individuality and uniqueness is really prized, and being yourself is something that is considered a major positive thing and major attribute that you can have. So it is much more common for American parents to choose a name that is unique or rare. So I just chose some names that I found from the US Bureau of Statistics, I think, or Consensus Bureau. I can't remember. I'll write it here if I've said it incorrectly. But some of the names that I found the most unique, so to say, that would not go over well in the Netherlands were goodness, handsome, comfort, magic, and money. So these names, in an American context, I could get on board with it and think, oh, that's cute. But when you're overseas, abroad, especially in a country like the Netherlands, it would really be not seen as a positive thing to have such a outlandish name. It would really make your child stick out and not necessarily in a positive way. So I would advise against, or at least really make sure you take the time to consider the effects that it will have on your child and their life if you are moving to a country such as the Netherlands or another European Union country where they do not commonly use such unique names. Okay, so I'm going to put on the screen the top 10 baby names from 2019 from the Netherlands and from 2018 for the US because of coronavirus. When I wrote my blog post on this topic back in June, they did not yet have the 2019 version because of coronavirus. So I'm just going to put the 2018 version for the US and the 2019 version for the Netherlands, the top 10 baby girl names and the top 10 baby boy names, so you can compare, and you will see that there's actually a lot of overlap in the most common names in both countries. They don't differ that much. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment below to let me know what you thought. If you know of any other outlandish names that you would like to share with the rest of us, please let us know below. And of course, as always, I really would appreciate your likes and comments, as well as if you would consider hitting that subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Bye.